Following is a short video going over menu codes within Counterpoint. The starting point for talking about system security is we're typically in Setup, System, Users, and we're creating a brand new user. And if I was to create a new one now, it might go like this, and typically I will copy from an existing user. One of the main things that happens when I set up a brand new user is choosing the security code. If I click on this and drill into this, if I go to Edit, you'll notice that with a system security code, one of the first choices is menu code. And we're going to talk about menu code today. Menu code affects what is in their navigation tree here on the left. So for a sysadmin user, you might notice when you're logging in, you might have a lot of options here on the far left, whereas a point of sale user, you might only see 2 or 3. So if you ever wonder where is that coming from, it's coming from this menu code called POS. Now, typically, we as LPA, when we're setting up our customer accounts, we tend to make this a one-to-one matchup. So if we have a system security code POS, we'll have a menu code called POS, managers for manager, sysadmins for sysadmin. It just basically makes all this easier to manage and easier to keep track of. Nothing says you have to do it that way, but that's how we tend to do this. I'm now going to go from the main menu to show you what this menu does. I'm going to go over to Setup System, and we'll go check out menu codes. And to do this, we are going into the menu editor. And we'll start off by looking at sysadmin. And we'll go into the menu editor so you can see what's going on. On the right side of the menu editor is a default menu that shows all the possibilities of things that you can do within Counterpoint. And typically, for a sysadmin user, you'll notice everything here on the default has been copied over and is available in the custom. Now, I'm not limited to this. So for example, you'll notice we've added a folder called End of Month. And maybe here what I've done is I've taken a number of actions or activities that exist on the right side. And yeah, a user could find these by going to the different menus within Counterpoint, but we can have our own menu folder and we can drag and drop those over here and create a simplified kind of one-stop shop for grouping a group of reports or activities to make it easier for our users. So in this example, we've created a folder called End of Month, and based on what we wanted to do here, most of this is probably coming from customers. We're just dragging and dropping those over here and creating this folder. So that's our sysadmin, and you can see that we have full access to everything that's on the right side. I'm going to leave this. We're going to go in as point of sale, so you can see the other extreme. And now you'll notice that instead of the full range of menus that was available to the sysadmin, you'll notice that for a point of sale user, this is pretty limited. And it's not a surprise. For drawers, they have the ability to maybe activate, count, and maybe print a drawer reading report, but that's about it. Under tickets, we have touchscreen entry. That's our point of sale within Counterpoint. And we might allow them to post at the end of the day, preview the edit list, but not a lot else is going on there. We might have a little reporting here. And under system, typically we might have a place where they can change their own password or have access to the message center. But other than that, not a lot going on for this kind of standard point of sale user. Lastly, we'll take a quick look at the MGR level. And for different companies, this might vary in terms of how much you choose or not choose to have your managers able to do. And you might even choose to have another layer besides the 3 that I'm showing here. You might decide to have a purchasing layer for security and a purchasing menu code. And for that, you might include maybe for the standard manager, if they're really just running the store and not doing buying, purchasing activities, you might not have purchasing on the manager menu. You might have purchasing on a buyer menu. So those are the kind of choices that you can make. But just to show you, in this example, it looks like it has quite a bit of the default menu. Chances are what's missing is under each of the main headers. Typically, we have something called utilities. So under inventory, you see there's a utilities. And typically, now for this menu so far, that's here. Oftentimes when we're setting up a brand new system, typically the utilities will come off the manager menu. Typically, utilities are things that have to do with configuration of Counterpoint. And oftentimes we will restrict those to just sysadmin. Maybe only 3 or 4 people out of an entire company might have access to utilities. But it never hurts to start with some things available. You can try them out and you can always pull back and limit whatever you need there. So that's just a brief look at menu codes in Counterpoint. It is a big feature in terms of restricting what someone can or cannot do. As always, if you have any questions, please check us out at lparetail.com.